talking points this week involving Ceedee Lamb and Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, and the Browns passing game. But there are some talking points that really need to be discussed, and we're going to do it. Your latest Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB, and the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Jeff Floyd, and I appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd, you are a bunch of maniacs. We love you here. I suggest everybody joins the everyday crowd by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcast. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. PrizePicks, run your game. We are here. We are here. We are going into week 1 of the NFL regular season. I hope everybody's had a great Labor Day weekend up until this point. Saturday, yesterday, just absolutely incredible. Getting back into the college football season. I know how many of you are big Ohio State fans. Buckeyes look good. Jeremiah Smith is going to be an absolute dog. It's amazing that he's going to be still about 40 games away before going to the NFL, but I hope you all are ready because the Cleveland Browns are back. Now, and we're going to talk during the week, certainly. We're going to talk about Ceedee Lamb. We're going to talk about Dak Prescott. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and the Browns passing game. But there's some storylines here I think that nobody is probably going to get to. Both offensive lines. Now, the Dallas Cowboys have a good offensive line. We think the Cleveland Browns, as long as everybody returns and turns back into form, should have a good offensive line. Certainly one glaring weakness right off the bat for the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Guyton, rookie, looks to be promising. Hopefully has a really nice career ahead of him. But your first career snaps at left tackle in the NFL are against Myles Garrett. Probably see some Zadarius Smith, some Agbo Okoronkwo, some Alex Wright, maybe Isaiah McGuire. Young man's going to get the kitchen sink thrown at him on the road in the dog pound in his first NFL game. Certainly, going to be interesting to see the way that plays out. For the Browns tackles, all returning, from knee injuries. Juwan Jones, first one back in the building. Second was Jack Conklin. We have Jedrick Wills. Maybe he practices this week, whether or not that makes him available for Sunday. We do not know yet. But Tank Lawrence is a unit, as we all know. Micah Parsons is just an incredible pass rusher. Her beautiful combination of, first step and speed and power and just, Micah Parsons, and I've described Micah Parsons a lot. Micah Parsons, when I watch, Micah Parsons is one guy that kind of reminds me of Lawrence Taylor from back in the day. He just rushes with absolute bad intentions. Very, very incredible player. Certainly, things that you're going to have to watch within this game. A rookie like Tyler Guyton for the Cowboys coming in this game against this established defensive player of the year in Myles Garrett, and all the help and all the improvement the Browns defensive line is put together in the last season. Plus, I guess we can say that because now we're into 2024. So, for me, this is one that's really probably not going to get talked about enough. We're going to, we'll talk, in segment 2 a little bit about the running game, segment 3 certainly about, how the Browns' ability in trying to contain a player like Ceedee Lamb. But, you're going to have, it could come down to what offensive line plays better. It's certainly a big factor for it. So much for the Cowboys is going to be run through, Dak Prescott and certainly through, Ceedee Lamb. The presence of running games for either team right now is probably questionable. It's certainly something that you got to bring up. The Browns will have Jerome Ford as their lead back, which is probably more impressive than having Ezekiel Elliott as your lead back in the year 2024. But how well can either team protect their quarterback? How well can either team, provide the appropriate amount of time for their quarterback to, get the ball down the field, get the ball to their playmakers. I think the Browns and Deshaun Watson probably have the advantage. They have the better group of playmakers overall, even though none of them are on the skill set of Ceedee Lamb. He will by far be the best skill player in that game. Is there a question of, is there any rust maybe with Ceedee? 10 days to get ready. I don't think there's going to be. There's always been talk, the Dallas Cowboys, as we all know, don't play nearly as well outside on the grass, outside of Dallas, as well as they do in that absolute behemoth and cathedral of a stadium down in Dallas, Texas. So certainly, questions there as well. So with going into this game and, the importance of it, it's a big start, neither team wants to lose this. When you get into games where you think you're evenly matched with your opponent, those are the ones that are going to come back to bite you later in the year. When you think, hey, we could have won that, or, we didn't, we should have won that, those types of things. For Dallas, is a big opportunity in week 1 to get a nice big road victory. For the Browns, we all know the easier part of the schedule is the earlier part of the schedule. Jacksonville week 2 and then the Giants week 3, a chance to be possibly 2-1, 3-0 coming out of the gate, which would be vital. And let's not listen to these Bengals fans trying to say, oh, well, we can go 4-0 out of the gate. You got Kansas City week 2, and you're just chalking it up to a win. Enough with that. So, for the Browns, and the offensive line should be Jack Conklin at left tackle. Looks like it'll be Joe Bitonio, as we all know, and Posick and Wyatt Teller. DeJuan Jones at right tackle. We got a chance to see DeJuan yesterday if you watched any of the Ohio State game. DeJuan is just a massive, massive human being. But it's going to be crucial for those guys. It really is. The Dallas Cowboys, you look at their starting offensive line, which, consists of the rookie Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, the guy who was drafted to be a tackle but kicked inside, and he's had a really, really nice career to this point. Center Brock Hoffman, free agent a couple of years ago. Zach Martin, a perennial name. And, of course, Terrence Steele to right tackle. The Browns can take advantage of these Cowboys tackles. Don't think for a second they can't. They have beaten better tackles. It's going to come down to if the Browns' defensive line is ready. Is it week 1 ready? Because it needs to be, because it is week 1. I know these guys are chomping at the bit. 425 start, national television audience. Tom Brady's first regular season game, doing the color commentary. It's all here. And, if the Browns are going to achieve the things that I think they are capable of achieving here in 2024, it's going to start on Sunday. 1 week from today, it's going to start. 1 week from now, we will know the Browns' fate. Will they be 1-0? Will they be 0-1? It's all up to them. This is a tough matchup by no means. The Dallas Cowboys are a good team. Dak Prescott is a great quarterback, is a great weapon in Ceedee Lamb. But I'd say the overall product probably favors the Cleveland Browns. We'll see how that parlays. We've talked to some offensive line play here. And what does offensive line usually lead to? Running game. We're going to talk about that. Segment 2, your latest Locked On Browns continues. Don't anybody go anywhere. The summer nights may be winding down, but that doesn't mean my love for going out and catching my favorite sporting event or going to see local music has changed. Game Time now has a feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live event even easier. The Game Time's Picks, it filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. With these deals, they will find you the best row, the best seat, the best sight line, all of these things. You can do it with customizing your spot. The curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats. They have the super deal. They get seat views before you buy, so you're not saying yes without getting to see from your, where your seat is going to be. Lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. They got it all at Game Time. Game Time Picks curation makes it even easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. They have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. The Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. what would you like to do differently? Like as an adult, hey man, I should have studied that. I worked on that. We're parents now, so we want to encourage our kids to be that way. Kids are always learning and growing. But as adults, sometimes we lose the curiosity. Something I'd like to learn is I would like to get more in touch with myself. I told you guys, I have worked a little bit on therapy over the past 4 or 5 months. And the tremendous growth I have made makes me strive for more. What are better ways I can improve myself? I found ways to enjoy some of the simpler things like cooking, barbecuing, spending more time with my family. Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back to school era can come at any age. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 100% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/locked-on. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. I'm your host, Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd keeps growing and growing, and I understand the anticipation and the wonder for the NFL season. I appreciate you all for jumping on this ride with me. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. Now, certainly this week, a lot is certainly going to be discussed about the Dallas Cowboys passing game. A lot is going to be discussed about the Cleveland Browns passing game, and rightfully so on both topics. Now, neither one of these teams figure to just be a dominant run team early in the season. The Dallas Cowboys, you lost a player like Tony Pollard, who was such a huge, huge part. And it wasn't even a chance for Dallas. It wasn't. Tennessee was heavily interested. That is where Tony Pollard was from. Tony Pollard basically didn't even give the Dallas Cowboys a chance. Tennessee came in hot and heavy, and Tony Pollard signed rather quickly with the Tennessee Titans. Now, for the Browns, we didn't get to see much of the run game in the summer. We also certainly didn't get to see enough of the main players within the run blocking scheme this summer. So, again, for Coach Andy Dickerson coming in here in his first year, it's almost like we're kind of coming in blind. We don't really have anything to go off to this point, even though we had an entire training camp. We had 3 preseason games. So can the Browns running game heat up? Can we get Jerome Ford going? Can we get Dante Foreman going? Can we find a way to get Pierre Strong involved? I think some people think I'm not a Pierre Strong fan, but I am. I think the potential for Pierre Strong to be a contributor to this team is high, but there's always a mistake or two. And when you're the third running back, you almost got to come in and play clean, perfect football, because then they're just going to go back to the guys in front of you. But Pierre Strong is faster than everybody in that room. Pierre Strong has shown the ability to be the long distance guy. Had almost near 100 yards in the Seattle Seahawks game last year. There's a lot of ability there. We know what Jerome Ford gives us. You get a solid running back. You should get north of 4 yards per carry. Certainly is a very good receiver, an underrated receiver. Dante Foreman, the little bit we got to see over the summer, hard physical runner, more juice in his legs than his predecessor who wore number 27 in Kareem Hunt. His 5 receptions in the second preseason game was certainly more impressive than I thought. And maybe I was a little, to be fair, underestimated the Dante Foreman selection, the pickup a little bit. I admit it. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. No doubt about it. But somebody's going to have to run the football. Somebody's going to have to run the football with some degree of success in this game against the Cowboys. Now, I don't know if it's going to come from Dallas. I just don't know. See it. Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook on the practice squad. It just seems like, Dallas just kind of punted on the running back position. Dowd, you have Deuce Vaughn there, of course, as well. And then with the other running back, it's just not a lot there with Rocco Dowdell. There's just not a lot in that running back room for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not saying that means but also here's where the rubber kind of meets the road is what we did see of the Browns defense this summer. They struggled against the run. So does that mean once we amp in and plug back in the first stringers, the Dalvin Tomlinsons of the world, the Shelby Harrises of the world, the Zadarius Smiths of the world, the Jordan Hickses of the world, the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoras of the world, is that all of a sudden going to be enough where they should be able to shut down this Dallas Cowboy run game? They should. Is it going to happen? the yin, the yang to it all. But I'm not concerned about the Dallas Cowboys running game. I'm not. I'm certainly concerned about their passing game. They don't really bolster a big time tight end. They used to have a really good tight end. He's now a member of the Houston Texans. So for the Browns, and what is always was so key, and I would say was key probably for the first 3+ years of the Kevin Stefanski regime is they were always trying to find a passing game that could get to the level of their run game. Now, the hope and probably the thought is going to be is can the Browns get a running game that can get on the level of the passing game? If Jack Conklin is back and is a good version of himself, that helps your running game tremendously. And if it's Joel Bitonio and Jack Conklin on the left side, which it looks like it'd be for at least week 1, that gives you an opportunity to run the ball to the left side. And you should have some success with it. You should. DeJuan Jones is going to be a really, really good player at the NFL level. Run blocking is going to be an issue. It's probably going to be an issue for the entirety of DeJuan Jones's career. I'm not saying it's an issue where he's not going to be good. I'm just saying it could be an issue where he may never reach all-pro level. When you are 6'9", and I guess we'll say, 350? I don't think any of us truly know what DeJuan Jones weighs. But it is really difficult because, number one, it requires quick feet. Really hard to have quick feet when you're 6'9", 350 pounds. It's beating quicker players to a spot. Really difficult to do when you were 6'9", 350 pounds. You guys saw this numerous times last year on film. DeJuan's supposed to get down and cut a linebacker off from his path. Look, we'll know if he got the guy because you're just going to see big old 79 and you're just going to see a guy in a different color jersey go flying out of the screen like a gnat in the summertime. But to think that DeJuan Jones could develop into an all-pro level run blocker, it's a lot to ask. It really is. Everything else he does is phenomenal and will continue to be phenomenal. Great player, outstanding player. But that's some concern you have. We know Wyatt Teller can pull. We know Joe Bitonio can pull. We have a lot of confidence in what Ethan Posick has done for this team for the last 2 years. But somebody's going to have to run the ball with some amount of success. And I'm not talking a high amount of success, and it could be 25 carries, 100 yards. Nothing that Browns fans that we've ever been used to, right? That'd be a low number. But it's going to be just enough to give your defense the amount of time to get the proper rest. And most importantly, to keep the other team's passing offense as a spectator and not on the field. It's one of the little keys of the game that could be the ultimate key of the game. And that's going to be which team runs the ball better in the opener next Sunday, Browns, Cowboys. We're going to continue on here. Your latest Locked On Browns. I appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. Don't anybody go anywhere. Prize Picks. You all remember Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike any other apps, Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. Simple one here. Prize Picks wants you this season. They want your business. 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 free weeks of free dubs. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. You want to play Prize Picks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sugar Sean O'Malley? You can find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each and every week. We made a killing last year with Amari Cooper. We closed out the season with David Njoku giving us a ton of W's. Tyreek Hill for more than 90 receiving yards and Dak Prescott for more than 263 passing yards. Well, we'll take Tyreek for the over. We'll take Dak Prescott for the lower. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKDOWNNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKDOWNNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Closing out your latest Locked On Browns. It is here. It is now. Week 1 is upon us. I hope you're all enjoying your Labor Day weekend. I'm your host, Jeff Lloyd. Appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The everyday crowd is amazing. Become amazing. Become an everydayer. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. Now, we've talked a little bit certainly about line play. Defensive line versus offensive line, vice versa for both teams. It's going to be paramount in this game if each team wants to be able to throw the ball like they hope and aspire to do. The running game. It's going to be a very, very small talked about point in this Cowboys-Browns matchup. But somebody is going to need to run the ball successfully. Somebody is going to need to give the defensive break. Somebody is going to need to try to tire out the other team's defense. Whoever can do that could be in a very, very big spot to win this game. Now, you talk about Ceedee Lamb. And look, Robert Woods, not bad. The rest of that Cowboys wide receiver core does not hold a candle to the Cleveland Browns wide receiver core. And with a healthy Denzel Ward, with MJ Emerson, with a healthy Greg Newsome, with your 3 safeties intact, the Browns, I'm not saying you're going to can take Ceedee Lamb out of this game. They can contain Ceedee Lamb. It doesn't matter if he lines up in the slot. Greg Newsome can run with him. MJ Emerson, Ceedee Lamb, MJ Emerson, with the amount of talk and respect he's getting within this league over the last month or so, as he now goes into year 3. Ceedee Lamb and MJ Emerson, MJ Emerson is just chomping at the bit for this to be the beginning of his year 3 resume. Denzel Ward does not back down from any receiver in the NFL. Never has and never will. So I don't care if you're going to line Ceedee up on the left. I don't care if you're going to line him up on the right. I don't care if you're going to line him up on the slot. Wherever he lines up, he's going to have a hell of a competitor in front of him. And you can have safety help, Juan Thornhill. You can walk Grant Delpit up for those short crossers that they love to do with Ceedee Lamb because he is so good with the ball in his hands after the catch. You have Thornhill, McLeod can be interchangeable as playing a center field spot. The Browns could put together a recipe that could make Ceedee Lamb a part of this game, but not the defining part of this game. And that's what's going to be crucial for the Browns. And it's going to be rotating in corners. It's going to hopefully be that Ceedee's moving all over the place. And you're getting one of your top 3 corners, which again, in my opinion, and I will stand up and say, the top 3 corners on any roster in the entire NFL. That is what this team is capable of. You've been waiting months for this opportunity to get the Dallas Cowboys in week 1. These defensive backs had 88 of Ceedee Lamb circled right off the bat. You're at home. All the world is going to see in a nationally televised game. You've got the newest member of the color commentary team where everybody thinks he is just going to take the world by storm in Tom Brady. This is a chance for the Browns to start the 2024 season. And it's not about a W. You got a W in 23. You got a W in 22. This is about getting a statement out the gate here. And a lot of it, and we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and the offense as the days go on here because we got a lot to cover this week. We most certainly do. We're getting crossover Thursday. Can't wait for that. Talk with the guys from the Cowboys. They were Locked On Cowboys. But the Browns are coming into this, all systems go. We had our health concerns, and I'm still worried about the offensive line. I am. I want to make sure these guys can go out there and give you 60 minutes. There's no doubt about it. But the Dallas Cowboys are a good football team. I don't know that the Dallas Cowboys are a very good football team. Now, if I feel the Cleveland Browns have the potential to win the AFC North and host a playoff game, then I obviously feel, and I have told you guys for months now, that I think the Cleveland Browns are going to be a very good football team. So we're getting there. All my Ohio faithful, you're already in the swing of things, and I don't even know how you guys do it. Like, you already start school, and then you have Labor Day weekend. So definitely weird for me in that respect. But, my girls, the backpacks, all that good stuff, senior year, junior year's coming. And go ahead, kids, have a great first couple days of school, because the only thing on my mind right now is Sunday, September 8th, 4:25 Eastern. And I've literally locked everybody in, and they know that I am not to be bothered. It'll be a busy day, but it's going to be a busy week. We're going to talk a lot of Browns, Cowboys. I am geeked up. I know all of you are geeked up. We got into it with college football weekend. It's back, baby. We waited a long, long time. We had a nice spring, had a nice summer, but you want it. I want it. Hell, we all want it. It's football season. It's Cleveland Browns season. Let's go. I'm your host, Jeff Lloyd. I appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. The everyday crowd is a bunch of filthy animals, but they're my filthy animals. I suggest you become a filthy animal and an everydayer. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on the LOB. Let's go Browns.
You are locked